Right, so it's wonderful to have Ajahn Jutindharo here with us, all the way from Devon, Hartridge Monastery in the UK. It's the second time that we have Ajahn here on Zoom. It's also one of the pioneering sessions that Ajahn is having with a newly set up connection at the monastery. So I'm quite sure many of us here in this room are very delighted to be able to see Ajahn and the Sala all on our screen right now. But let us all be patient and understanding if the connection goes a little bit wonky. But as long as we can also receive the Dhamma that Ajahn is going to be transmitting to us in a little while. So with all our palms together and our hearts full of joy, let us all now pay respects to Ajahn with 3 respectful bows. First bow. Second. And third. So I'd like to now invite Ajahn to please guide us in a short meditation.
Okay. So please, we can begin by sitting comfortably, wherever you happen to be, home, whether you're sitting on the floor, sitting in a chair. If you're comfortable with your eyes closed, allowing your eyes to close, don't need to see me. I might actually switch off my video just for doing this at least, so that you can hear me hopefully clearly. Beginning by bringing our attention inwardly, noticing wherever we are sitting at the moment. Can you feel the seat underneath you, the cushion, the floor? Allowing ourselves to recognize the immediate experience of contact, touch. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? And we're just very gradually and gently opening our attention to beginning to receive different sensations, feelings, which we might notice within our own body. And the touch of the air on your skin. Many different sensations within your own body. What do you notice that is comfortable? Where is it okay and feels easeful, open and spacious in your own body? Having a sense of what is all right. And if we've been a little bit busy before joining this meeting, recognizing there may be some momentum, that busyness, that activity, and we can be patient and allow it in its own time, gently, gradually, beginning to fade. So we're in no hurry in our meditation. It takes its own time. We have an aspiration to be present, awake, and clear. And it's just the aspiration. The mind isn't that way. We're patient. Often we get drawn towards the things which are difficult, the things we don't like, the things we don't want. And then we tend to forget about what's already present, which is quiet and open, receptive, and can still recognize where it feels safe to be. We're allowing ourselves time really to arrive with our own body and a sense of space around our body. And perhaps we just have a sense of stillness, which doesn't even have a location. We can sense it. Allowing your body to breathe just as the body would like to breathe. If there is any tightness or tension we notice in our body, or busyness, distraction in the mind, just noticing, seeing if there's anything anywhere else which is willing to soften a little bit. Emphasizing more what's already relaxed and open. Nurturing that. or trusting that the agitation, the busyness, is given an opportunity, it will quieten down. And so we may notice in our body different sensations, sometimes pulsing, streaming, flowing, different ways of speaking about or describing the rather vague sensations which we generally feel. Without becoming over-focused on anything, allowing different sensations to arise and to pass. Just seeing within that, perhaps there are some patterns we notice, or there are places we notice where something softens or lets go in our body without us actually trying to make anything happen. We allow ourselves to let go. Again, noticing where it feels comfortable, perhaps quite pleasant, spacious, within our own experience in this moment, whether it's in the body, a sense of space around us in the body, or perhaps something less tangible, just a sense of peacefulness, ease. Where we might be able to rest for a little while. Offering ourselves this activity of kindness, compassion. So we receive ourselves just as we are, just as we find ourselves in this moment. No demand or expectation that it has to be different. And then in your own time, gently opening your eyes. Beginning to connect again with the space that you're in, the room that you're in, and your own body. You need to stretch or yawn, stand up, taking your own time. Yeah.
Thank you, Tanajan. May we now request for Dhamma talk? We'll have Brother William chant the request, please.
Brahma Chaloka Dipati Sahampati Kaatan Jali Anan Divaram Ayajata Santi Dasaata Paraja Kajatika Dese tu Dhammam Anukampimam Pajam.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. I'm very happy to have this opportunity, this occasion today to say something, speak with you a little bit, and offer some reflection on Dhamma. It makes me very happy to know that this event has been set up during the Vassa this year. You're having a series of talks. And that's very inspiring that I'm making this effort. Some of you, I imagine, are very regular practice. Perhaps you listen to many Dhamma talks. You know, there's a lot of different people making offerings at different times all through the year. Perhaps for some of you, the Vassa, this is a particularly special time. Make that extra little bit of effort. And we all need to do this because the nature of the mind, I think, for most of us is that we forget. We forget about our practice, or we get caught up in the busyness of our day-to-day lives. Even if we're living really quite skillfully, quite happy with what we're doing. And when we have the opportunity perhaps to be a little quieter, more settled, and a little more inward, attentive. And maybe we notice, oh, actually, caught up in this, following that. And so to give the time and the space and to come together as well. There's something often quite powerful about coming together, joining together with others. So we're not alone in this. We need to make our own effort. That we need to do. And there is the potential for support, presence of others with the same aspirations, similar aspiration. And together we create an atmosphere. An atmosphere of quiet. We can't be doing this in person. And it may be that where you are at the moment, perhaps it isn't so quiet. Whatever the conditions are, it's it's what we can practice with, what we need to practice with. But we can also recognize supportive conditions. One of the things which I notice in my own practice, and perhaps something you might notice in your practice, it can be difficult for us when we do get caught up in things, actually to allow ourselves the time and the space to slow down. Often we know that we're not happy or something isn't right, but we get caught up in a certain momentum. Life always seems to have a way of drawing us into that. And of course, as we're going about, day to day, we need to be able to respond. Like we're not ignoring what goes on around us. We are sensitive, of course, to what we receive through the senses, through what we see, through what we hear, taste, touch. And this contact, what impinges on us through the senses, touches feelings in us. This is just being human. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Is it something interesting? Is it something dangerous? And this process is going on all the time. And of course, over the time in which we grow up, we learn to have an idea of how to relate to the world around us, to make things bearable. If we're lucky, it's maybe quite nice sometimes. Hopefully we have quite a nice life. But ultimately, of course, we can't control the world as it is. The world is how it is. If we could control everything, we'd be like God, wouldn't we? We can just choose how to have everything. We can make everything absolutely the way we like it to be. And of course, we know, as we know in our head, that that's not possible. That isn't the way it works. But actually, deeper down, often that's really how we want things. You know, we do want things to be the way I like it, I want it to be. This is where the Buddha, of course, pointed to Four Noble Truths and the experience of dukkha. And dukkha just in the sense of that disappointment. And again, just in the course of living an ordinary life, we find the world isn't the way I want it to be. I'm not the way I think I should be or I want to be. If only I had this, or I could do that. Like that sense, then everything would be fine. Everything would be all right. But often we're looking in the wrong place. We're either looking out there at the world through the senses, or we're looking at what we create as the duality. You know, the world is there and there's me here. I am the one that's experiencing all of this. And then, of course, we all have, we create this sense of identity. I am like this. This is how I am. And on top of that, we create more complexity. I'm like this, and actually I don't like this part. I like that bit, but I don't like this. So I ought to do this, and I should be like that. And we're not ignoring any of this. You know, this is just natural way, or this is the way that actually the mind works. Human mind works. If it didn't, we wouldn't be here. The way human beings have evolved, that we survive. But these capacities are often like unrefined. It's like we've learned how to pick up a basic skill: cooking, playing a musical instrument, doing a sport, or some academic study. And we've done sort of some basic courses that we've got a grasp of it. I recognize now I'm speaking to you in English. For many of you, maybe English isn't your first language. Some of you may be very fluent in English. Some of you perhaps a little less confident. But it's good enough. It's good enough, hopefully, to broadly understand. And that's really valuable. It gets us along. It moves us along. It helps us to perhaps broaden our understanding and our perspective. But still, we only have a certain level of skill or competency in whatever it is in that skill, whether it's language or cooking or the sport or the music, whatever it is. So it means we're going to make mistakes. We're going to get it wrong sometimes. It's okay. And unless we want to be really professional in, in that particular field of human activity, it doesn't really matter. We may be very happy with, I can play the piano just this well. I'm quite happy with that. I can appreciate someone who's a professional musician. What they can do, that's wonderful. I'm happy with what I can do. But perhaps deeper down, when it comes to more overall, this sense of who I am, what I am, we have more doubts, more insecurity. And this is the dukkha. Somehow we're not quite able to fit in perfectly with the world in the way that we would just like to. And this sense of well, we can take it in two ways. It can be either like something is wrong with me, or we can, of course, blame it on the world. Something wrong with the world, and I have to change the world to fit me. And ultimately, we can't do either of these. We do try often, and of course, what we experience then is sometimes a bit of success, limited success. But more often it's frustration, disappointment. Then the Buddha said, yes, this is part of being human, isn't it? Sometimes things work well, everything's good, and sometimes not. And we need to be willing to look at this a little more carefully. Or if we really want to wake up, we really want to understand more about where we find freedom, where we find more ease. Dukkha isn't something we dismiss, we ignore. It's something we need to be more attentive to, but in the right way. So it's not about suffering is good for us. We just need to suffer more. That would be masochism. But there is dukkha. Oh yes, there is. Yes. How do I relate to it? I notice meditation, and I notice I'm restless, frustrated, upset, irritated. Maybe it takes a little while. It takes a little while before I'm actually willing, able to just gently turn my attention to, what's going on here? Because of course the feeling in the body is not a pleasant one. So our instinctive reaction to what is unpleasant feeling, is to try and get rid of it. Push it away. Find something to do so that it's not happening. But often we're looking in the wrong sort of place. And often we're not going like to the source. Where is the beginning of the dukkha? What am I actually doing in this moment, which is perhaps contributing? So we're not saying that necessarily, we are responsible for everything that's going on, which is unpleasant. There are unpleasant things. Sometimes our body hurts. Can't say that's really my fault. There is sickness. We get old, we get tired. Things start to ache. We have our life set up in a way where most of the time things are comfortable enough or pleasant enough. A lot we can really complain about, and often we're grateful for that. Perhaps that helps us to be more open, more allowing when the challenges come along. Perhaps we know challenges will come along. We'll get ill ourselves. People we love and we care about will be ill. We'll have misfortune or challenges, difficulties. We're more willing to bring an attitude of kindness, of compassion. We're not pretending that everything is fine and beautiful. And when we soften in this sort of way, we broaden our attention, open our attention more, become more receptive. Still being open to what's also pleasant and comfortable in this moment. Or in the meditation, I was trying to remind you to come back to this. The mind tends to get caught or stuck in what's difficult. I think in modern psychology, they call it a negativity bias. We tend to notice the problem rather than what's already okay. In meditation or in our practice, we're both cultivating, doing skillful things, wholesome things, which provide more of a foundation, give us more of a ground in our lived experience, where the natural consequence is that there is more sense of ease. We are naturally a little more peaceful in moments. We can all lose it. We can all get caught up in things which are busy. We have a basic ground which we can touch back into. Rest back into. And that's what allows us the perspective. Yes, there is some dukkha. Things are not completely relaxed and comfortable. Okay. That's okay. And what is my response? What am I doing when that's how I notice? That's my experience. What do I do? I tend to notice quite often there's a sort of subtle agitation. I've got to do something. I've got to do something. And actually that agitation itself, of course, is another layer of dukkha. Why am I doing that? It's already unpleasant, or I'm unhappy about something, and then I'm feeling, well, I'm doing this. Maybe I start to notice that I'm leaning into the present moment in a way, trying to make something happen, make something be the way I want it to be. Basically, I don't like unpleasant feelings. I don't like feeling agitated, so I try and get rid of it. Different ways of resisting and pushing it away. And of course, the more we can notice that, exactly, where am I doing that? I'll often notice around, like in my body, with this practice of body awareness, different sensations. I usually practice being as open as I can be with receiving the whole of the body. And I'm not particularly picking or choosing. The mind naturally goes somewhere, perhaps settles with the breath for a while. That's fine. Attention maybe goes somewhere else. Oh, that's something which is pleasant. Is it unpleasant? Does anything tighten up? Is the body relaxed and open? No, it isn't. How is it? Is there anywhere I can soften a little bit more? Allow a little bit more space to receive actually how it is. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I'm not forcing anything. in present open place. And trusting that whatever is already moving and changing, happening in the body, in the mind, in this moment, the more that I'm being open, not judging, not saying, go for this or go for that, being open and allowing. The mind will gently find a way. Where does something soften? Where does something open? There. I'm not pushing, I'm not pulling, I'm not grasping, I'm not holding on. Neither am I ignoring. Being present, open. Could say this is like one way of describing practicing with the middle way, the way in between. I often like to talk of it in more like finding a balance in our experience. We're not pushing, we're not pulling. When we're balanced, we're more centered, connected with the ground. Well, I particularly like in meditation, just to start and frequently come back to noticing the ground. Yes, can feel that. Don't need to think about it. Isn't judging me in any way. However I'm feeling, it receives me. And then often letting the body also find its way to relax. Gently let go. It can be a process. And whether we end up in a place where it's like, oh, I'm totally relaxed and blissed out, of course that's creating some sort of expectation or hope, anticipation, which is likely to become a form of grasping. Actually, what I'm wanting is, it's okay, it's like this, but actually I want more. We need to be careful. That's grasping. The aspiration to be free. Or just the sense that, is there something possible? And whatever we call that, awakening, enlightenment, whatever, however we want to refer to that. Yeah, so we do need to have some sense that something is possible, and then to achieve that, actually small steps. In many ways, I think the practice of Dhamma, not so different from what I was referring to earlier about different skills. Perhaps the way we've learned to play a musical instrument learnt a foreign language, learned how to use the latest app on your mobile phone, something perhaps which has interested us, maybe is relevant to us. I'm useless with the apps on because I don't need them really. Or maybe you need them. There's something which has engaged our interest, followed it up. And actually the skills which we employ, we need a certain quality of attention, interest in attention, clarity, focus. If we're trying too hard, we'll make mistakes, get it wrong, we'll get frustrated, we'll give up. But anything which we've actually had certain success with in learning, the skills which we've employed are the same skills which are required in Dhamma practice. For many years, I believed I was incredibly awkward and clumsy physically. Like when I was young, as a boy and a young man, for example, I could never dance. I was first very uncomfortable in my body. I was hopeless at sport. Don't worry, I still am. But what I noticed was it was because often in trying to learn something, there's some sort of disconnect between what people were telling me to do and my sense of my own body. And people would say, oh, relax here, do this. I'm guessing many of you do things like Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga. If you do that, you watch the sifu or the teacher, and they're doing something, and you're trying to copy. And I'm really awkward. And what are they doing? I can't quite coordinate. Often it's quite simple things. And it took me a long time to recognize or to notice that when I was often trying a little bit too hard, and before I try to copy anything, before I'm looking to do anything else, I was always like starting from the wrong place, getting a little bit ahead of myself, wanting to be able to be like that, and not attending to the fact that I'm starting here. I need to start from here. And the more I connect with that, the more present I am here. Oh, and someone's doing that. Oh, can I move my hand like this? Oh, maybe I can. Need to get a sense of how's that feel to do that. Oh, that's how it is. It's like finding our own way to take a step forward into what is unknown, into what is unfamiliar. And we've all done this actually many times in our lives. And in the heart, we know how to do it. But often in our mind, we forget that, or up in our head, I'm in charge. I know how to do it. Actually, maybe that's not where we do know how to move into and open to what is not yet known. And that's what we need to remind ourselves of. Because what is not yet known, you could say, is also the Dhamma. What is, it's the reality, the ever-changing, always fresh reality. And we need to be open to that and receiving it as it is, rather than coming from like an idea we have of how it is, how we want it to be, how it should be. While I think probably times I've stopped. Hopefully some of what I've said has made some sense, and hopefully the audio quality has been adequate, that you could hear me. I hope so. And I'm very happy if you have any questions.
อันดมยังดมากทายาสาดุคารามตตมเสสาธุสาธุสาธุอนุโมดามิ
Thank you so much, Thanajan. So friends, please, you're welcome to click on the raise hand button to direct your question to Thanajan, to provide any comment, feedback, questions. Just as Thanajan has come out to encourage us, I think by asking questions is also a form of encouragement to Thanajan. Just as I said earlier on, this is one of the first sessions Thanajan is doing teaching online. So they're still learning how to connect, but I think we all have received his transmission very well today. So I think maybe if I can ask the first question, Thanajan, I think many people here may not have an opportunity to experience Hartridge, may not even know where Hartridge is. So for some of it, practitioners who might be visiting the monastery in the next couple of weeks or months, that they may have an opportunity to visit. Perhaps Thanajan could give a little bit of a background into Hartridge and what Hartridge is like.
So for those of you who don't know, the monastery, we're in the southwest of England, about 150 miles from London, in an area known as Devon. Very pleasant part of the country. It's fairly secluded place where we are in the countryside. Away, but there are villages around, and it's fairly quiet, and it's quite a small place. Just a couple of buildings and a little bit of woodland that we have. So it isn't a big community. We are 7 bhikkhus, 7 monks for this family, as many as we've ever had, and very pleasant spot. I'm really happy to have been here. I've been here quite a long time myself, and it's a very sort of temperate climate, and also for some of you maybe do know parts of England. You know, if you come to the UK, you're perhaps more familiar with London or places around London. And for many years, I had this sense of like London's, of course, a fascinating, always busy city like Singapore, and there's like an energetic field around London. There's a lot of energy. And the further you get away from London, and of course, if you go to other cities, it's busy again. But the further you get away, people are generally a little bit more relaxed. The pace of life is a bit slower. That's definitely how it is here. So, yeah, I find it a very sort of pleasant part of the country to live in.
Yes, certainly very nice to visit. And particularly for those who are driving, down south and you see Stonehenge. It's not too far from Hartridge. You have to pass by Stonehenge to get to Devon. So do visit Hartridge.
Welcome.
Yes. So there is a question, Tanajan. And this is from someone from Hawaii. Parani, I believe Parani is from Hawaii. Her question is, how would I respond to a Zen teacher who told me that I was in a suffering situation because I put myself into it and no one caused it for me?
I'm not sure how you can respond. It's like there is Ajahn Chah had an expression, I think, true but not right, right but not true. So the teacher presumably is asking you to reflect on from yourself rather than putting things out there or blaming out there. And that, I don't know the situation. I don't know the particulars. Maybe if that's coming from a place of kindness, from compassion, the Zen master really is a Zen master and is really just offering that as a neutral reflection for you, then that might be what's needed. But I don't know. I don't know this person. If you don't trust that, then I'm not sure. So, I would just be careful. Ultimately, we do need to take responsibility for ourselves. In a way, that's what that person is saying. But if they are saying that really to ignore something which perhaps they are partly responsible for, or which is actually the responsibility of others, and is not your fault, you need to know that. It's also not to receive it as, oh, it's my fault. Is this just something, is this Dhamma? So, sometimes in our own experience, we can see, actually, yeah, not my fault, but there is a pattern here. A pattern is something which keeps on recurring in my life. So maybe that's saying something about me, perhaps. So it's something to investigate. I would just take it in that sort of spirit. So I'm sorry, without knowing more particulars, I don't really want to judge or comment anymore. Trust your own wisdom a little bit.
Thank you, Tanajan. So we have a few people here with the hands up. I'd like to invite Ming Hui Maybe if you are able to click on the yes, unmute. Yes, great. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Sister Bita. Thank you, Tan Ajahn, for the sharing earlier. I don't know if I'm misquoting you here, but I think there was one part when I think you rightly said something about, us not wanting too much suffering. Although suffering is inevitable, we all know that, and that's just part of life. Part of me also wonder when there is, quotes, not enough suffering, it's so easy to be complacent and not practice hard enough. I wonder if Tan Ajahn has any thoughts to share about this. How much is too much? And, this, I guess, having that determination to push on and practice harder, even if the suffering isn't enormous. Thank you.
Well, I'm reminded of something which Ajahn Sumedho said, I remember him saying many, many years ago. And he said, we don't need to go looking for the suffering. There's always enough. I mean, so, maybe things it's very comfortable a lot of the times. Like, we can enjoy the fact that it's okay. I think we can be quite driven to, I have to achieve, I have to get, I have to do. And then actually when things are okay, we're sort of thinking, oh, something's wrong. Everything's okay. Something must be wrong. I ought to be doing something. So there you are. Oh, that's exactly what we can look at. Should I be doing something? Is it okay? Can I just receive things being okay? Just the same that I might be able to receive when things are not okay. It was like, this is more about equanimity. Things are fine, and we know they're fine, or we know things are all right. It's pleasant. This is nice. It may not last. It'll change. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm enlightened, but at the moment, seems okay. Is there something more I need to be doing, or I could be doing? And we can ask the question. And if the answer is, well, I don't know, or not sure, we can just acknowledge that's we probably know, conditions will change and something will crop up sooner or later. There will be something, some dukkha. So like the work isn't finished yet. And stay humble with it. Without practice. But there are times when, things just seem to go very nicely. And that's like a fruit of practice. Probably been doing some things quite well. So also to give ourselves like a pat on the back.
Pat on the back.
Pat on the back, it's okay. Okay, well done. Particularly if our character, if our nature is quite driven, and we're more likely to be very self-critical, something like particularly when we're down, we're more self-critical. It's just a way of balancing that a little bit. I don't have to believe that. And it's not that I'm sort of believing, oh, I'm so great and I'm wonderful and I'm a fantastic practitioner now. I trust that's not what you're experiencing. Or that isn't how you see it. If you think that, then it's like, maybe not. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tan Ajahn. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Minghui. Next, can I have Sister Cheryl? Cheryl, can you unmute? Yes, great, thanks.
Thank you so much, Ajahn, for the talk. It really resonated with me, especially on allowing the present moment to be, especially because when I meditate, the body gets tensed up, and likewise the mind gets tensed up as well. I have a doubt to clarify. My main meditation object is with Buddha, reciting Buddha. So I can't seem to reconcile how to keep the mind on one object, which is Buddha, but at the same time allowing the present moment to be, because it seems like it's switching the attention quite a bit. So I'm not sure if when I'm practicing Buddha, am I repressing my defilements or my feelings or my thoughts? So very advice there. Thank you.
What I suggest is allowing yourself to experiment and find out what works well for you. And I'm not saying that even by experimenting, meaning finding, it's a fixed thing, but more trusting that it's okay for your attention to move between Buddha and perhaps what you notice you're experiencing in the moment. And having a sense of, it's like, where's the balance here? Am I a little bit agitated? So it's actually quite, although I'm drawn towards following what's happening in the moment, actually I'm not really grounded, or I don't feel very centered with that. Actually, maybe what's then that might incline you towards coming back to the Buddha more. So, ground myself, center myself, be here. Yeah. But there'll be times when actually your attention is being drawn to something. It's like, that seems to be where practice is really alive. That's where I'm noticing change, and something is flowing there, which you just have a sense, that's right. And somehow perhaps the Buddha in that moment or in that place seems a little bit mechanical, and the interest isn't there. And it could be the Buddha has done its job for now, and it's just a way of more centering our attention. If it's centered enough, and then, there is this. What's actually going on here? So this is one way of perhaps describing or talking about how we might move between the samatha aspect of practice and the vipassana aspect of practice. And when do we need to perhaps give a little more attention, a little more effort towards calming, settling foundation? And when is that effort actually getting in the way? Maybe the mind is actually already calm enough. We have the idea, I keep on repeating Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. It's going to get calmer. No, maybe it's calm enough. We can let go of the Buddha, maybe just for a while. See what happens? How is it? Because maybe we tune into something which is deeper or more settled and which doesn't need a word, doesn't need us to be making that fairly coarse effort to repeat the words. And actually we're already more tuned into name or to identify, but we can sense it, we can feel it. The mind which is already peaceful, calm, it's open, it's receptive. And we trust that.
Thank you very much, Ajahn.
You know, there's that, yeah, but that's helpful.
It's helpful. Thank you.
Are there any final questions from anyone here? If not, I have a question to ask Thanajan. When you spoke about awkwardness just now and about movement, did it occur to you when you were assisting Luang Por Suchito a couple of weeks ago when he was doing Qigong? And did the awkwardness arise because, you know, Luang Por Suchito is very, very fluid in his movements. And when that happens, when that thought of awkwardness arises in front of your teacher, how did it make you feel?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, a few weeks ago, I was with Ajahn Suchito. He was teaching a retreat in America and I was there helping him. Yeah, so he was teaching Qigong and yeah, he practiced that for years and I haven't. Yes, it did arise in that situation. And actually, I was able to sort of laugh at myself and not take it too seriously. But that's partly because, so as you say, he was teaching Qigong. So Qigong is a particular form. And many years ago when I was a layman, actually, I did Tai Chi for a couple of years, which I really enjoyed. I was never terribly good, but I had learned the form. I'd learned the long form. And of course, the teacher would always say, yes, you know, okay, that's the basic, you learn the form. And of course, doing that, I was very awkward learning that. But after a couple of years, I had the form down. I sort of knew what to do and could follow along with the form. And then, of course, the task is relaxing into the form. And that's what Ajahn Suchito has say if he goes and sees maybe one of his teachers or someone comes to the monastery who's been practicing a lot more than him, and maybe he does some Qigong with them, you know, he says, he realizes, oh, you know, okay, I can do this, but they're much better. It becomes more subtle, that's all. And so I found in my own experience, there are ways I can relax and connect in my own body and how my own body moves, where actually I know I'm very comfortable. I'm actually very fluid, and very present and grounded. But it doesn't. The Qigong, yeah, I have to learn the form, I have to learn to do this and that. Oh, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I think Thanajan, your session today kind of it's an awakening. It's a beautiful way to say that, like what Lai San has just typed here. That's a beautiful way to say that we tend to be always ahead of ourselves without realizing it. But it's
Yes.
it's like that quiet, peaceful, and mindful moment, and just to be with that moment. And when a situation or an awkward situation arises, is to look at it with gentleness and lightness, like the way you said, laugh at it,
If we can, I mean, if it's ourselves. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy always to do that, but I think more and more it seems to me that's the way. Not to take ourselves too seriously. I mean, it's all the things which you've heard everyone else say many, many times. I've heard Ajahn Sumedho saying so many times. Oh yeah, this is it. And we'll get it wrong. We'll make mistakes and we'll find ourselves getting caught up in our familiar patterns again and again. And hopefully, gradually, if we reflect, if we bring our experiences back when we come to do meditation, or we have the opportunity to be quieter, maybe go on retreat, and we're just open to how things are and what arises, these things often will come up, or they'll be there in one way or another. Might not be quite the direct way we imagine. They might be there in a more subtle way, and we might just, it's that. Oh, that's what I've been doing. Oh, that's what I do. Of course, so these are like little insights which we can have, and we forget those. So we find we make the same mistakes again when we're not in that situation. Come off retreat and find ourselves, we're floating, we're happy for a couple of days, and then bang, I'm back to my normal life, and I'm just the same as though I'd never been on retreat at all. But that's not really true. We did experience something, we did see something, but then we just forget again. So the more often we remember, and maybe gradually these things deepen a little bit into our lived experience. Although we know what can be more discerning, what to trust, more willing to trust it, and also a little more discerning what not to trust, what to avoid. Oh, I could get into this, but actually that's not helpful. So I'll just try and avoid doing that. We can't always avoid. But then we get put through I've been put in the washing machine, and we get churned around and thrown. We feel, what's happened? Being able to having a bit of sense of humor about your own practices, I think, can be really valuable. And that's hard, of course, when things do get difficult, but generally, not to take ourselves too seriously.
So that's a wonderful way to conclude this session, Thanajan. Thank you for all the reminders that you shared today. I think it's also, I'm also mindful of time, that we are in between your meal time. So we'll have to have compassion to you and the Sangha. And we'll have to call an end to today's session. But before we do that, I would like to invite Thanajan to lead us in the recitation of the verses of sharing and inspiration. I'll have the words on the screen, and Thanajan could lead us in the chanting of the words.
Okay, thank you. Now let's chant the verses of sharing and aspiration. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, may my spiritual teachers and guides of great virtue, my mother, my father, and my relatives, the sun and the moon, and all virtuous leaders of the world, may the highest gods and evil forces, celestial beings, guardian spirits of the earth, and the Lord of death, may those who are friendly, indifferent, or hostile, may all beings receive the blessings of my life. May they soon attain the threefold bliss and realize the deathless. Through the goodness that arises from my practice, and through this act of sharing, may all desires and attachments quickly cease, and all harmful states of mind, until I realize Nibbana in every kind of birth. May I have an upright mind, with mindfulness and wisdom, austerity and vigor. May the forces of delusion not take hold, nor weaken my resolve. The Buddha is my excellent refuge. Unsurpassed is the protection of the Dhamma. The solitary Buddha is my noble guide. The Sangha is my supreme support. Through the goodness of all these, may the darkness and delusion be dispelled.
Thank you. So in closing, Thanajan, please allow us, would you like to lead us in chanting the Araham?
And yes, shall I face the shrine and we can chant
Yes, please.
Arahang and then we can bow to the shrine? Yeah.
Thank you.
Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhang Bhagavantam Abhivante. Sawakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamman Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho.
Out of gratitude in our hearts,
Sorry, Peter, I can't
let us
hear
all
you.
now take leave by paying respects to Thanajan with 3 bows. First bow, second bow, and third bow. So thank you all so much, and see you tomorrow.